10 Things Never to Say to a Narcissist. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, all about narcissism and narcissists. Today's episode is titled 10 Things Never to Say to a Narcissist. Navigating conversations with narcissistic individuals can be challenging, as they often react defensively or manipulatively to criticism or perceived threats to their ego. Understanding what not to say can help you maintain boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. In this episode, we'll explore phrases that can provoke a negative response from narcissists and offer strategies for effective communication. 1. You're being selfish. Why to avoid it? Narcissists often view themselves as the center of the universe. Calling them selfish directly attacks their inflated self-image and can lead to defensive or aggressive reactions. Alternative approach: instead of labeling their behavior, express how their actions affect you personally. For example, say, I feel overlooked when my needs aren't considered. 2. You need to change. Why to avoid it? Suggesting that a narcissist needs to change can provoke defensiveness. They often believe their behavior is justified and may interpret this as a personal attack. Alternative approach: focus on your feelings and needs without implying that they need to change. For example, I need to feel more understood in our conversations. 3. You always do this. Why to avoid it? This phrase generalizes their behavior and can be perceived as a personal attack. Narcissists often react negatively to being labeled as consistent in a negative way. Alternative approach: instead of making sweeping statements, address a specific instance. Say, I felt hurt when you dismissed my opinion earlier. 4. Why can't you just listen? Why to avoid it? Narcissists often struggle to listen or empathize with others. This statement can make them feel cornered and defensive, leading to further conflict. Alternative approach: reframe your request in a more inviting way, such as, I would really appreciate it if we could discuss my perspective for a moment. 5. You're overreacting. Why to avoid it? Telling a narcissist they are overreacting can invalidate their feelings, prompting them to lash out or dismiss your perspective altogether. Alternative approach: acknowledge their feelings while expressing your own perspective. For example, I understand this is important to you, can we explore it together? 6. You make me feel bad. Why to avoid it? This statement can come off as blaming and may provoke defensiveness. Narcissists often struggle to accept responsibility for how their actions affect others. Alternative approach: focus on your emotions without assigning blame. Try saying, I feel upset when our conversations turn negative. 7. I can't believe you did that. Why to avoid it? This phrase implies judgment and can make a narcissist feel attacked. They often cannot handle criticism and may react by becoming hostile. Alternative approach: instead of expressing disbelief, share your feelings about the situation. You might say, I was surprised by your reaction, and it made me uncomfortable. 8. You're such a victim. Why to avoid it? This statement dismisses their feelings and can provoke defensiveness. Narcissists often see themselves as victims, and calling them out on it can escalate the situation. Alternative approach: acknowledge their feelings without labeling them. You might say, I can see that you're feeling hurt by this situation, let's talk about it. 9. You're not as important as you think. Why to avoid it? Directly challenging a narcissist's self-perception can provoke anger or retaliation. This phrase threatens their sense of superiority. Alternative approach: instead, you might express how their behavior impacts you, saying, I believe we all have important contributions, let's work together to make sure everyone is heard. 10. I don't care what you think. Why to avoid it? This statement dismisses their feelings and opinions outright, which can lead to rage or aggressive behavior. Narcissists need to feel important and valued. Alternative approach: communicate your boundaries while remaining respectful. You might say, I appreciate your perspective, but I have a different viewpoint that I'd like to share. Conclusion: communicating with narcissists requires careful consideration of your words and tone. Understanding what not to say can help you navigate these challenging interactions more effectively. By focusing on your feelings and expressing your needs in a way that minimizes defensiveness, you can maintain your boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. Thank you for joining us in this episode on 10 Things Never to Say to a Narcissist. We hope these insights help you better navigate interactions with narcissistic individuals and empower you to maintain healthy boundaries. Remember, protecting yourself is a priority, and understanding how to communicate effectively is a valuable skill in these situations.